He invited people to his banquet. So he said, let me go to the poor and blind and to the lame and invite them. They will come into my house.
Those people are Israelites who were scattered living outside of Jerusalem.
You don't think those were the Gentiles that appreciate
Okay, you know what? Okay, forget all that, bro. Forget all that extra stuff. 1 Corinthians 10, bro. And forget all this extra stuff. Give me James 1:1. Let me tell you something, bro. This right here, I think we're going too deep. It's giving the basics, bro. 1 Corinthians 10.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 1.
Who are the Corinthians? There's crackers, right? It's crackers, right? I'm just saying, Europeans, we're Caucasians, we're crackers, right? Corinthians and Jerusalem. But I'm just saying,
Christ don't like that.
God don't like division?
No, he don't.
Give me Luke 15:21. Read it.
Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant. How that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea.
What does that mean? They were under the cloud and passed through the sea. It's talking about the Red Sea crossing. You know the cloud that led them and the pillar of fire? This is talking about Moses, right? Read on.
And we're all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea.
So Red Sea crossing, right? Who was there? And who else? The Israelites. Right.
And did all eat the same spiritual meat. And did all drink the same spiritual drink.
So he's saying the Corinthians walked through the Red Sea with Moses. Don't let it get all rained on you. He said the Corinthians walked through the Red Sea with Moses. So are the Corinthians Israelites? It says, yeah. He's telling the Corinthians, he said the Corinthians, all of our fathers walked through the Red Sea with Moses. So the Corinthians are Israelites. He said Christ doesn't like division, right? He said Christ doesn't like division.
That was the case. God was
Chapter 12, verse 51.
Whoa, because you said Christ would not like division, right?
This is Luke, chapter 12, verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth.
There's a red letter, so that's who talking. Christ. Read it.
I tell you nay, or rather division.
Brother what?
Rather division.
Brother what?
Rather division.
Brother what?
Rather division.
Did Christ come to bring division? Matthew 25:32. We read this one earlier. I'm going to refresh your memory with this.
This is the book of Matthew 25:32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall
What?
all nations.
All nations. It didn't say believers and non-believers. It says all the nations.
And he shall separate them.
So what?
And he shall separate them
He's going to separate the nation.
one from another.
Separate all the nations from each other. That's not, is that the bit? What? No, he said all the nations will be in front of him. He's going to separate all of them. Is that division?
Yeah, but,
Okay.
but look, he also said, don't be he's a guy like he wants his people to be together, and he wants those other people to be separated from his people, so they won't be that estranged.
According to the Bible, all of Israel is going to be saved eventually. But there's a portion of us that want to die with their oppressors because they don't want to come back to the laws of God. Right, so the prerequisite is first, you must be an Israelite. Second, then you have to accept the Most High God, His laws, and the faith in Christ. So, but we just read you're going to eat the riches of the Gentiles. We just read the Gentiles are going to come to the Israelites' light, and if they don't do what we say, they got to die. We just read that. Acts 26. Let's see what Paul says. Acts 26. Because you think something different was said than the Old Testament, right? They say it changed, right? You think it changed. So what Moses said, did Moses say that all the other the Gentiles would come into? No. So you think it changed, right? Let's see what Paul said. Acts 26 and 6.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 26, verse 6.
This is Paul talking.
And now I stand in and am judged for the hope of the promise made of God unto our fathers. Verse 7. Unto which promise are 12 tribes.
Or what?
Unto which promise are 12 tribes. Instantly showing God day and night.
Day and night, we are still hoping for the promise that God made to our fathers for the 12 tribes. Verse 22.
Verse 22. Having therefore obtained help of God, I continue unto this day, witnessing both small and great, saying none other thing than those which the prophets and Moses did say should come.
He ain't say, Paul said, I ain't saying nothing different than what all the prophets before me said. Acts 17. Right? He said, I said nothing different than all the prophets before me and Moses said should come. Acts 17 and 1. We read this earlier. He said he was in Thessalonica with a group of Jews, right? Read verse 10.
Verse 10. And the brethren immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night unto Berea.
So Paul and Silas are going to Berea. Where's Berea? Berea is in Greece. Okay? Are these crackers? Saltines?
Who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews.
So he went to Berea, but he went to a synagogue for the Jews. Verse 13. No, I'm saying those are Israelites who are living somewhere else. Let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of the Greek captivity? Did you know that the Greeks ruled the earth at one point? You know there's a book called Philippians in the Bible. A letter, right? Why is it called Philippians?
66.
That was a city, Philippi. What's that city named after? You ever heard of Alexander?
Yes.
Alexander's father, his name is Philip of Macedonia. That city's named after him. You know why? Because the Greeks conquered the Jews. And they conquered the whole earth at that point. They were the power, the major power on the earth. So the Jews, give me a second Maccabees 6 and 6.
So they were white Jews too? They were white Jews.
When you say white, I tell you there's some light-skinned Jews.
Because
But when you say white, you mean like crackers. And I'm going to tell you no. You mean Caucasian. You think, see, this is the thing. It's not a religion that somebody can just join. We're talking about a bloodline heritage that you have to be, if you want to be technical, it's not a religion. It's an ethno-religion. Because the only people that can be a part of this is if your blood is part of this.
Right. Why? Because I work for you. Okay.
So do I. So do I. Don't you know that's a curse from Deuteronomy? Okay, so one of the curses of Deuteronomy is that we would have to work for our oppressors and deal with our oppressors like that. So if they're the Jews, how come they're not oppressed? How come they're not working with their oppressors? How come it's war over there? Because the Bible said when the real Jews come back, it's going to be peace over there. Why do you say that the Bible says that the Israelites are going to do wrong by God and be driven away from their land, scattered across the four corners of the earth?
So they took down.
I'll be honest with you, we gave them some of it. We taught them because we told them, you want to come around, you better get down or lay down. And it's like, we'll get down. And then we got conquered by the Romans and pushed out. And they were like, well, they gone. But they don't really follow our laws the right way. But they follow some of our ordinances, which is how they get rich. Because they don't charge each other interest, they charge us interest. That's what we're supposed to be doing to them. They call it the judicial system because it's the way we ran things in Judea. What's up, King?
Hey, Elder, I just want to say, also back then at the time of Christ, you had white people proclaiming to be Jews. If you ever heard of the Herodians, right?
Right, the Herodians.
Herod was the emperor at the time, set up by the Roman authority. But Herod is a cracker.
Right.
The reason why they put him on top is because he's not us. It's almost like Pamela. They say she's one of us, but she's not.
Right.
And the elites put her up there to try to rule over us. So the Herodians, or the people who came out of the bloodline of Herod, they crackers. That's
loyal
like
to
Christ
Herod.
said. They say they are Jews, but are not. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about the Herodians.
Yes. Okay. Wait, no. What he just said, we got to harp on what he just said. Okay? Now, for that second Maccabees, we can read that real quick. I want to go to something. Hold on. Give me Acts 24:24.
The book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter.
What he just said is real. Remember what he just said. We're going to touch all the way on back on what he just said.
This is the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath day or ancient feasts.
You kept the Sabbath day or the feast day during the Greek captivity. They did this thing in Greek called Hellenization. where they made you be like them. And Babylon didn't do that, Persia didn't do that, nobody did that. But the Greeks, they were like, you gotta be like us. So if you kept the Sabbath, you circumcised your children, you died.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
You couldn't even call yourself a Jew. So if you can't call yourself a Jew, what you call yourself? You live in Greece. I asked a nigga, what are you? He's like, I'm a nigga. Where are you from? I'm a nigga. I'm American. What the hell does that mean? Right? Right? Go ahead, that's it on there. Read this. So listen to what he just said. Give me Acts 13:1. Because what he just said, we got to speak on that in a deep way. King Herod, wouldn't he call himself the king of the Jews? He was the king of the Jews, right? Same one tried to kill Christ, right? Then after that, you got Herod Antipas, you got King Herod Agrippa, and one of them killed John the Baptist, one of them killed James, one of them tried to kill Paul. Right? Watch this.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 24. And after certain days, when Philip came with his wife Drusilla.
Who's Drusilla? Drusilla comes from the Herodian dynasty that Joab was just talking about. Yes, one of the daughters in the lineage, right? So Drusilla is white. Okay? Drusilla is an Edomite, right? She's not a Jew. But what's it called her? His wife Drusilla,
Which was a Jewess.
what?
Which was a Jewess.
Is she a Jew?
Nope.
Oh no, she's an Edomite. You can Google Drusilla and it'll show you she's a cracker. But then this says she's a Jewess.
Right.
That's a Greek word, Eudios.
Right.
That means she lived in Judea. And she was a resident of Judea. She wasn't actually a Jew. Read it.
The book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. Now there was in the church that was in
Antioch was the first place people were called Christians, right? Watch this.
Now there was in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called nigger.
It's called nigger. This guy had a nickname nigger. Like I grew up in a quick neighborhood. There's one nigga we called Black Cuz. Because he was dark as hell. Yeah, what's up, Black? This is the book of Acts. Now keep reading. Now people will lie and say that's Niger, but it's not. Because Niger wasn't named until 500 years ago. This is 2,000 years ago. The Greek word is nigger. And in your translation, it might say black man. Because you got an ESV. Keep reading.
And Lucius of Cyrene and Manian, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch.
Herod the Tetrarch. That means it's a four-headed guy's ruler. Herod. So this guy is Herod the Tetrarch. Read on.
As they ministered
Herod the Tetrarch and
Herod the Tetrarch and Saul.
who Saul? Paul. Right. So in the same school was Paul and Herod the Tetrarch. They're in the same school. So, but this guy's a Herodian. He's Herod the Tetrarch. You lying bastard. That's why you keep walking. Gilligan. And let me tell you something. He said bullshit. You know, they sneeze and say bullshit like they slick. I caught it and nobody else caught it, so I know I look crazy. But I don't I heard what he said. Oh, bullshit. You know how they do that corny stuff? I didn't even see his face. It must have been a cracker. But they wasn't even want to be a cracker. So let me tell you this right here. This says Paul, when he was Saul, was in the same school as Herod the Tetrarch. This is why in Acts 26 he says, I know you know about when he's talking to Agrippa. He says, I know you know and you believe, but he don't know he believes, like he has faith. He means like, I know you know about this, you went to school like the rest of us. You understand? Because this is Judea. Herod called himself the king of the Jews. But he's well known to be a white man. This is a mighty point he just made. And then we see Drusilla, they're calling her a Jewess, who we know is from Herod. They were ruled over just like we're ruled over right now. They were ruled over in Rome like that. Just the same way that we're sitting here in the Bronx and a white boy can come up and say, get out of here, right? They were ruled over by Romans. They were in captivity. Were they free during the time of Christ? No. Christ will tell you you're not free. You know what Christ determines whether you're in captivity or not? If you have to pay taxes. Christ said, if you have to pay taxes, you ain't free. Do they charge? Give me Matthew 17. Do they charge?
He said that to Peter.
Because they came and asked him. They came and asked Peter, hey, does your boss over there pay taxes? Right? Read this, Matthew 17, 24.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 24. And when they were come to Capernaum,
Capernaum.
they that received tribute money came to Peter
The tax man, right?
and said, doest thou, master, pay tribute?
Does Christ pay taxes?
He said, yes.
And Peter just like, yeah.
And when he came unto his house, Jesus
Then they went back home, and when they was in private, Christ came up to him,
prevented him, saying,
and he stopped him and he said, hold up, Peter.
what thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do kings of the earth take contribute or tribute?
Who do the kings of the earth ask for taxes from? Who do they ask to give taxes?
Of their own children?
Do they ask their own children to pay taxes?
Or of strangers?
Or strangers that they don't give a damn about? People that they don't care about, they take taxes from, right? They don't take taxes from their family. They take taxes from your ass, right?
Peter said unto him, of strangers.
He said, strangers gotta pay taxes.
Jesus said unto him, and are the children free?
He said, so the children are free. The strangers ain't free because they gotta pay taxes. You get what I'm saying? Watch this, John 11. How did the Christ raise Lazarus from the dead?
The book of John, chapter 11, verse 45. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him.
Oh, they said the Jews rejected him, so they all believed on him. We don't.
But some of them went their way to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done.
Some little snake dudes went off to go tell the Pharisees, right?
Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we do? For this man doeth many miracles.
What are we going to do about Christ, man? He's doing many miracles, right? You know what I'm saying? So look at this. We're on Fordham University in the Bronx. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. White people on Fordham. White folks on Fordham. Right? You dig what I'm saying?
If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him.
If we leave Christ alone, I'm going to make a point. When they leave off, they leave Christ alone. He said, everybody's going to believe in this guy. We don't.
And the Romans shall work, and the Romans
What?
and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
This is the Sanhedrin. This is the council of the highest Pharisees, high priests. This is the council where they come and sentence you to death and then pass you off to the Romans. They said, if this man keeps doing this, everybody's going to believe in him, and the Romans are going to take away our power. So the Romans ruled over these guys. When Paul was there and Paul said, wait, I'm a Roman, you gonna just do this to me? The guy said, whoa, shit, he's a Roman, let's wait. Let's be sure about this. And then what did that officer do? The officer, the centurion, the Roman centurion, he commanded the Sanhedrin to gather together. He got power to tell the Sanhedrin to just get together. That's all the high priests, the Sadducees, the scribes, the Pharisees. This one officer could say, get the Sanhedrin council together. Because the Romans ruled over them at this time. You understand? When he said, hey, give Caesar what Caesar, he said, whose name is on the money? Whose name was on the money, bro? Whose name is on our money, bro?
Right.
It's the same situation. What you gotta understand is just like Ecclesiastes said, there ain't nothing new under the sun, bro.
Right.
We gotta stop looking at it like all spooky. Look, how it is right now is the same way it was then.
Right.
So they was hanging out in Jerusalem with their fringes on, trying to speak in Hebrew, wham, had their little songs, maybe, you know, maybe a little freestyle Friday session, and then here comes some crackers walking by the middle of them, and here come the Herods, just walking by, and they didn't do nothing, they just, oh, here come the Herods. You understand what I'm saying?